Good afternoon, day 8 of my 30-day vlog challenge. Just based on my recent vlogs, it's kind of like I just choose a topic and just talk about it. I guess something just about me. Simple enough, easy to keep consistently with it. So today's gonna be an interesting one. It's gonna be video games versus gaming, just kind of my history with it. And I know I had posted a video probably a few months ago, 2 months ago, about why I stopped playing games and whatnot. Um, but for me, I was like, let's talk about just my history, my where I started till where I stopped playing. But let's go back. When I was a wee little child, I had gotten a PlayStation 2. Uh, and I mean, I had the PlayStation 2 for a while, up until the next console generation. And then, what was it? I mean, on PlayStation 2, I had played a whole wide variety of different games. I guess I saw it, asked my dad to buy it for me and just played it, right? There was some games I remember I'm like, why did I even get that game? Didn't Doesn't seem like a game I would play, but hey, I was a kid and hey, a game's a game, right? So I remember I had a whole bunch of PlayStation 2 games. Fortunately, most of them are gone at this point, but you know, we PlayStation 2 was the big part of early childhood, elementary school, right? And whenever the PlayStation 3 came out, I feel like it was around middle school year for me or so. Um, Obviously, from PlayStation 3 made sense, right? Just keeping with the same company. And so, for PlayStation 3, you know, I feel like that was a big jump for me in my experience because with the online gaming, I actually, interesting story, right? So back on the PlayStation 3, you know, for the most part, I was playing by myself, right? Really, never played online or anything like that. Um, Later on, a later part, nearing like when I was like seventh grade, eighth grade year, when Black Ops 2 came out around that time, maybe right before then. I was playing on PlayStation 2 with one of my friends, like almost every day after school, right? But there was a there was one game I got into, just kind of, I bought it, just like I said, just seemed interesting. It was I think it was on sale or something. I think that's why I bought it at the game store. It was Battlefield Bad Company 2, go to game, right? I remember, you know, playing online. I know the PlayStation 2, not PlayStation, my bad. PlayStation 3 experience was interesting because there wasn't like voice chats, right? There was like, you had a chat. It was like Discord, right? But just chatting, right? Just texting, which, texting through a controller was very like, you have to go through every single letter. Like, it was, looking back, it was very annoying to, just having a voice channel, right? And then that's what was like the one up on Xbox because they had party chats. Versus PlayStation, it was just like you have to text, like, hey, invite me, or hey, this and that, or going back and forth, right? But on Battlefield Bad Company 2, I remember I was playing. I know this may not, like, the details may not matter, but just so I can have it on video recorded. I remember I was on the helicopter, and one of my teammates, I remember his name, El Gordo PR, something like that. Um, he was my co-pilot, or vice versa. He flew, I shot, and we were pretty good, together. And I forgot. Like I said, I don't recall if we talked on the like voice chat in the game or it was just through texting. I just don't recall, but we became good friends, right? Um, we we became good friends, and we played on Battlefield. From We went from Battlefield 2 to Call of Duty, right? And so very often, like almost on a daily basis, right? I would hop on the game and play with them. But like I said, later on, I also started playing games for one of my buddies at school, and it wasn't really. I think this was around the time GTA 5 came out, right? Because GTA 5 was like 2013. No, no, I don't think so. My timing's iffy. I'm gonna be honest with you. But I remember I was like, my friends from high school, like the ones that I've been with for a long time, two of them, well, granted, all of them, besides some friends later on, uh, they transferred over to our school. I knew them. I mean, since pre-K, like they were with me since pre-K, but we were like we knew we were classmates at points. Some years we were classmates. Other times they were like other like they were in the same grade, but the other class like it was split. But what I was trying to get at was in terms of like talking with them. One of them, in particular, it wasn't till I guess I don't know something came up when it came to gaming, and it brought up like, hey, oh, I play PlayStation 3, and like, oh, well, I play PlayStation 2, like 3 as well. Like, let's how about you? Let's become friends and just play on there. Something along the lines. Conversation like that came up. And that's where I went, right? And so, from there we started playing on PlayStation 3 on like Call of Duty. So and then like at the time it was him, and then it was a group. It was the guy I met on Battlefield and his buddies. I if I recall, I think they were up north, like New Jersey, around that area. Um, they're around that park. I remember that details, but it was interesting because it was like us, like we were always in a group together, like playing Call of Duty, especially Black Ops 2. Like that was just our game every day after school, man. Like that, we hop on. But granted, like I said, it was PlayStation 3, so it was just like messaging people if they were on, like, hey, invite me, or like, you know, whatever, right? So for many years, we were on that, and then there was a switch up when the next console came out. It was the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, right? And PlayStation 4, if I recall correctly, I know it was a long time ago. I think they restarted requiring payment subscription, right? You have to pay to play online. So I was like, oh, okay, well, now both consoles are on the same tier in terms of like subscriptions, right? And one of my friends later transferred to our school, he was playing on Xbox, and so it's like, okay, we're on PlayStation, he's on Xbox, and then one of our other friends, he recommended us or advised us, whatever you want to say, like, hey, let's get Xbox together so we can play. Like he was pretty much convinced us to get Xbox, so we're like, okay. So we went from PlayStation 3 to Xbox One. Right now, here's the thing. Because of that, we had to essentially leave the buddies we made from PlayStation, right? And I got a bunch of friends on there, but it wasn't like, I guess it was just like, hey, just add me because we played a game or something like that. That it wasn't. It was just like a solid relationship or anything like that. But those group of guys, those what, 4 or 5 of them, man, it's like, man, I don't recall if we were like, hey, like we're gonna be on Xbox or something like that. I don't. It was just one of those like switch ups, right, where we just kind of like went over, and it was like, okay, because I know we did not like talk to them in detail, like, hey, like we're gonna be on Xbox, so if you want to still talk, like it was just kind of one of those things where either we didn't talk to them or they weren't getting on around the time when we got a new Xbox, and we just migrated over, and it was like, that's it. Something along the lines where, for whatever reason, we just didn't talk it out. I don't know why, right? Um, funny thing about that is I did try to reach out to one of them because I had his email address. He was game sharing. Bless. It was so it was Bradley, Dominic, Ethan. There was another guy. I'm sorry. I think Bradley, Dominic, Ethan. There was another guy. I forget his name, but there were like brothers or something like that, and he was game sharing. I'm like, hey, shouts to the guy, right, for game sharing because on Black Ops 2, I couldn't really play with them because I didn't buy the DLCs and whatnot. So they were like, hey, like we'll game share. Like, hey, here's my information. Kudos to the guy, super cool dude, right? And so we game shared, right? So I remember we had the DLC and some DLC skins and stuff like that, but because I game shared with him, I had his email address, which I don't know if I emailed. I don't know if I emailed that email. I was like, hey, like this is Adonis, like you know. Granted, we didn't go by our like real names really. It was just our gamer tag, which really didn't fit our names, right? So it was kind of. I remember. I don't know if I did email that email like, hey, this is so and so. I'm from like the place for 3 days. Like I just want to catch up. If you're still there, you get this message. Call me or reply back, wherever the case may be. And I think tried to look up the guy's name on Facebook because everyone had Facebook, and I think there was a guy. I was like, I think this is I messaged him. I never got a reply back. So it was like, well, like it is what it is, right? You know, I did what I could do, but it just sucked because it was like, man, like these were like one of those gaming friends that you had a really good, strong relationship with for the time, and then it's kind of like just ghosted, and it's like, man, that sucks, man. Because I would love, I remember years ago when we were playing Xbox, I was like, man, I wish we could talk to them again, man. Just like could just catch up, right, and just see how they're doing. But one of them actually, one of my buddies that I was playing with, he did still keep in touch with one of them, but he told me that the guy said he didn't. I guess they stopped talking or something came up and they just don't talk anymore. It's like damn, like okay, so it was just like yeah, we just went our separate ways, but it was that's always gonna be stick with me memory wise. Just like man, like that was the PlayStation 3 group, man. Those were as you say the good old days, man. Um, but so yeah, I mean we had Xbox One, and then so I had that, and we had that for many years till was it till they released next console was it Series S, Series X, PlayStation 5 came out. So for me, I got the Series S years ago when it came out. I think I waited till it was around Christmas when it was on sale, like on Amazon, and then a year later, my buddy he got the Series X, and then our other friend like I think very soon before me. It was definitely before me. I don't know, many months. I'm not too sure the timeline, but he got the Series X. But I remember there was an issue where he couldn't play because our biggest game was really GTA, GTA 5. That was the big game for us. But because he upgraded to the next console and how Rockstar did their own thing, we couldn't like play like next gen with them. So, which sucked because him and my buddy they grinded the heck out of games. Like there were no life in game. Like so like they were for missions and all the stuff. They were always together in terms of grinding. Because for me, after a certain time, I'm like, all right, I'm getting off. For them, they would stay up past midnight and stuff like that. So for them, it sucked because like man, that was their game and see upgrading. He was mad that it was like that's like I didn't know and stuff like that. I was like, well, that sucks. Um, but like I said, later on, probably later in the year, within the year, I upgraded. But I got the Series S because I'm like the X. The main thing was the discs plus like 4K tracing, ray tracing, and I'm like, I don't need that. Plus the disc, I had some Xbox games with the disc, but I'm like, well, I mean, these games I don't really touch. So if I did want to play them, I'd just go back to my old Xbox, right? It just doesn't make sense, right? So, PlayStation 3 to Xbox One, Call of Duty was the main thing, main game we are playing. And then, Xbox One, it was Call of Duty, there was Destiny, uh, GTA 5, of course. Those are the main games. With Minecraft, just those were like really the main games. We were playing for the most part. Maybe there was another game here and there we played, but and then with Series S, Series X, right, the current gen console. For me, I mean, it was all right. It was just getting older, working, and all this stuff. Kind of like, yeah. Like for me, my love of gaming kind of like started dipping a little bit. Uh, and like because the main game we were playing was Destiny 2. Because one of my buddies, he was like up there in terms of like top. I don't know what in the world in terms of Destiny 2 like gameplay ranking. Like he was up there. Like he was no lifing that game, thousands of hours. Like it was crazy, right? But because that was a game he only solely played. Well, it's like, well, every time we hopped on, I was like, well, I guess since he's always on that, we'll have to really play that because he didn't really hop on any other game, and it would have been GTA 5, but because my friend upgraded consoles and me later on, it was like, well, then we can't play that. So it was just like Destiny 2 was literally the only game. Maybe that could be something why I just kind of like I got burnt out on Destiny 2. And I'm just like, it was what after what was it? If you know anything about Destiny 2, I think it was Beyond. Was it Beyond Dawn? Beyond Dawn. Let's say something like that. It was after Witch Queen. I think it was Beyond Dawn or something on lines like that. Like after that, I was kind of like, like all right, I'm good with the game now. Um, like I was like, look, I mean, I played Destiny and I played Destiny 2 up to this point. That was many years. Like, look, I just got burnt out in the game. Just it's just not for me anymore. But it was like, well, my other friend, the only game they play is Destiny 2, and then I'm burnt out in the game, so it's like, and that's the only game we ever play. As you can probably imagine, like for me, it was like just gaming just wasn't. I was like, oh, like if I get on, it's like Destiny 2 again, and he, like I said, I think with last year he upgraded Series X, like next gen, which was great. But like for me, I was already at that point. I was like, like I'm already burning out on games. I'm just not. It's not hitting the same. And then plus with live stuff, it was just not. It was not hitting the same. I just wasn't like. I would play the game, but I wasn't really there. Like it just wasn't an enjoyable experience anymore. And that's where I had to just hang up my coat. And that's. I don't think that's the same. Hang up the gloves, right? Earlier this year, yeah, I just have to hang up the gloves. Like, yeah, I'm good, man. I mean, granted, like from when I was a kid till now, like that's most of my life playing games. So I mean, I would say I was a good run, great run. And it's not like I would never go back. Like if I got my life down, take life stuff down, and it's like okay, not really stressing out or just overthinking or like I can be immersed in the game. Like yeah, I mean I would go back to gaming, like kind of just a casual gamer. Get off, come back work, eat and whatnot, and then just play a game for a few hours, and every so often kind of just do that. Weekly. Like for me, because man, it sucked because when I was hanged up the gloves or put the gloves wherever it is, I forgot the saying goes, but it was Expedition 33 came out. And man, I was like, the game seems pretty. Like, if I wasn't in the phase I was in, I would probably cop that game or at least wait till it went on special and copped it. Because I was like, man, you know what? That game does interest me. I think there was another game that came out around that time that interests me. But I'm like, that game, I was like, man, that would have been something I would have been interested in. But so I ended up that, and then here's the thing: we were because let's just say was it us three, and we had two other friends that we play Xbox. One of them is very iffy on that on hopping on Xbox, but we were also hopping on PC, which we did have a small run on PC, but it wasn't consistent, right? And there was only a few selected games we could really play because, well, for me, I my PC graphics card is very low, like it's bottom of the barrel, right? And then my other friend, the one I was playing since middle school on Call of Duty, his PC was an old PC. I mean, I'm pretty sure his graphics card was better than mine, but it was an older PC, so it didn't really handle high performing games. So it was just like, okay. So two of us, we were kind of we were restricted, right? So there was only certain games with like medium to low, most time, for the most part, low performing, not low graphic games or GPU games, right? So we, there was that, but then earlier this year, my friend's PC just gave out, and so for a period of time, he didn't have a PC. He had another PC, but that was worse or about the same level, probably a little bit worse than the one he had. So it was like gaming on PC was over for us, right? Um, so it was like, well, shoot. Well, there goes that run because we were like we were starting to pick up on some PC stuff, but then it happened and that just kind of fell through. And then I think I mentioned one of my friends, he moved to Norway with his wife, so I'm like, well, there she blows, right? Congratulations to him, of course. But I was like, okay, so it's just, and it's one of those things with just life. Things get happen, and we just go separate ways, and some hobbies we just do less or just stop altogether. And for me, it was, yeah, I mean, just it was just one of those things where I wouldn't mind going back, but it's just not the right time to go back, right? And yeah, just a long run, you know, what 20 year run, give or take. So it was run, but some things have to come to an end. So, but well, I'll end it off here. But oh, if anyone has similar experiences, or it doesn't have to be gaming, it could be another hobby that you have a similar experience you were doing for a while and then it just kind of fell off, or change hobbies. I love to hear anything about it. If you want to comment below. But otherwise, that'll be it for today. So thank you for watching. Have a good day. Take care.